Leon back with you from Investing Education Academy, and we are here to talk about an asset class that some of you all are still invested in, some of you all have completely forgotten about, and many of you all are just scared of. We're talking about cryptocurrency. Now, cryptocurrency recently has done some very unique things. I'm gonna let Leon tell you why we chose cryptocurrency, why I do my housekeeping.
I mean, so if you haven't been following crypto the last, and we don't fault anybody for having banning crypto. Brent and I mentally, in some ways, checked out like a lot of people. We didn't totally abandon crypto. I more so got out deeper than Brent did. At one point, I had sold all my crypto, like everything. I liquidated a lot of it in 2022. Then I got back in Bitcoin alone, moving into 2023. Also did a little Ethereum. And I had said coming out of 2022, I was only going to do Bitcoin and Ethereum. The reason being, I had, like a lot of people, had gotten absolutely burned being in a lot of the smaller, what they call alt or alternative coins. And so my focus has been primarily really on Bitcoin. Now, like Brent said, the reason we're kind of talking about this is because the reason crypto crashed in the beginning, right, or in 2022, was because of the Fed. Just like the stock market, like every asset class, bonds, crypto, cash, everything went to not to zero, but crashed significantly. And the Fed is basically out of the way now, right? So they've said the next move they're going to be doing is actually cutting rates instead of raising rates, and that's why we're seeing the stock market really doing what it's doing. We see crypto, doing Bitcoin's at near all-time highs, and so the impediment to markets moving higher is largely gone. Now, of course, there can be economic reasons, war, recessions, the normal things. But the thing that really crashed the market 2 years ago was the Federal Reserve raising rates. That's largely done, right? So in my mind and in Brent's mind, we see crypto as being in play again. Now, Brent will tell you, like he's he's been doing some things, boy. He's been doing some things behind the scenes in a lot of the altcoins, so Bitcoin, I think over the last year is up like 250%. I believe this year it's up like over 50, maybe even 100%, 50, 100%. It's up huge, right? There are some altcoins or alternative coins, which are smaller coins. Now this may run a lot of people. It may give some people PTSD. I get it. Like 2020, 2021 was great until it wasn't. Like a lot of people really got burned by crypto in general, and then a lot of the smaller coins. But some of these smaller coins right now, as the term that we use is curious money. That's money we absolutely don't care if we lose. If you can throw some curious money at some of these smaller coins, they have no use case. They have no purpose. They have no purpose for existing except for speculation. There's nothing wrong with speculation, right? That's that's the way a lot of money is made. But we've seen literally Brent right before we came on. Brent pulled up a particular coin. It's up 13,000%. Sorry, over 13,000% in 1 year. And we did the math. We calculated $10,000 invested in this particular coin a year ago would be worth $1.3 million. Now again,
more than 1.3 million.
Sorry, more than 1.3 million. So, and again, we're not advocating all this crazy speculation doing. But all we're really saying is this is an asset class where money can be made. It should be money that you could lose, but money can be made here again, just like it was pre 2022. We're now in a post-Fed kind of environment, so we're saying that we're looking at it as this is asset class that we should revisit to some extent. Not a lot of money, but you should have some money in crypto. And last point on Bitcoin. So two of the biggest money managers on the planet, BlackRock and Fidelity, recently issued Bitcoin ETFs. And they've seen billions and billions of dollars flowing into these ETFs by institutions, not by little guys like me and you. So what this means is that and really what's happening is a lot of the institutions didn't want to buy Bitcoin outright because you got to do the whole wallet thing, and that can be nefarious, and there's a lot of things that go along with that. But these ETFs are regulated; they're on public exchanges. They're regulated by the SEC and the Federal Reserve. So now big money feels good to come in and buy Bitcoin. So I say all that to say, probably going forward, we'll see. I mean, Bitcoin would likely always be volatile, but we likely may not, and I'm not saying I predict the future, but we may not see the level of volatility we've seen in the past because there's going to be so much institutional money underneath Bitcoin, propping it up in some ways. So just
in addition, don't forget we have a halving coming up.
We'll explain what that is.
Okay, so it's when they take a certain amount of Bitcoin and essentially burn it. And that means that it's no longer in circulation, which creates scarcity. Scarcity also, adds to the supply demand curve in the fact that the supply is reduced, so demand tends to go higher.
And real quick, we don't mean physically burn it.
No,
it just means it's removed from the supply, so it's taken off the market.
So when these halvings occur, normally, and you got to think, cryptocurrency right now is still an asset class that disallows us from having historical data. There is not a significant amount of data for Leon and I to go, in the last 20 years or the last 30 years, it doesn't exist. I mean, Bitcoin you can trace back, and actually Bitcoin has a predecessor no one talks about, but Bitcoin's not the first cryptocurrency. Let's just say that. Now, the point of us saying is there's not 20 years or more of history. As all of these altcoins and these 50,000 plus coins just were created like out of thin air, there's no 10, 20-year history to look at. However, based on the history that we do have, and I'm going to say that's 3, 4, 5 years worth of knowledge, when halvings occur with a popular coin, and then notice I use the word popular because cryptocurrency is still a popularity contest. The stock market is too, but the stock market, you have financials to back why things are popular. Most cryptocurrencies, they don't have a utility, they don't have an actual function, they don't have a use case. They're just strictly a popularity contest. Who's getting in? What is the marketable asset, the size of the asset, and also what's the volume being traded? So what's the volume of coins in circulation? That's the only things you can base it on. When the halving occurs, normally Bitcoin or whatever is being halved shoots up in price because people, have that whole fear of missing out and they start buying.
Yep. And so just kind of back to the halving issue too. The reason why that's important, as Brent said, it breeds scarcity. And so what that means is there's going to be less coins on the market. So Bitcoin has Bitcoin by the creator of it, whoever that was, by rule of Bitcoin or by law of Bitcoin, there can only be 21 million that are ever created. And I think right now we're at like 19 or 20 million. So we're coming up on the end, but that's going to take I think it's going to be like another, 10, 20 years or something before it actually reaches that 19 million, because I believe it's every year or every couple of years, this quote unquote halving happens, where again, they reduce the supply. So that the number getting down to that 21 million or getting up to that 21 million is going to take a significant amount of years. But that scarcity is always going to be happening every year or every couple of years. There's going to be less and less supply on the market, which is going to again breed scarcity, which typically boosts the price of assets. So another thing about Bitcoin, and my thing is I'm mainly a Bitcoin person. Brent definitely deals more in the altcoins because they make I'm just a lot has happened behind the scenes with Brent and these coins the last couple days, not even week, days. He's done very well, and so he's kind of convinced me I need to do a little more speculation myself. But to Bitcoin, the SEC is actually clearly the SEC has blessed Bitcoin by saying it's not a security. They've ruled on that, and they've blessed these ETFs. So basically, what that means is the backing of the financial system in the United States has blessed Bitcoin, saying it's fine to invest in, trade in, buy stuff with, whatever. These other coins, altcoins, Ethereum hasn't been blessed yet, but there's going to be an Ethereum ETF at some point. There are applications in now by a lot of the big boys to put out Bitcoin Ethereum ETFs. So that will happen. So Bitcoin and Ethereum essentially have the blessing of the U.S. government, which is great. All the other coins, those are play by your own risk. Actually, right now, Coinbase is being sued by the SEC for listing a lot of altcoins or alternative coins, and those are just any coins below Ethereum and Bitcoin. Because they're saying that they're actually securities versus currencies, and so I mean, there's still a lot of laws, a lot of things are still going to go on with that. So just be careful. Know what you're getting into, know what you're buying or investing in when you're dealing with these coins. Anything below Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, and also too, when you're looking at, okay, so we talked about the coins and so forth. When you're investing in these coins, you want to look at how much money is in circulation around the coin, and it's the market cap of the coin. If it's below 50, really 150, 200,000, I would even say 750,000 or less. That could be a coin that's solely being manipulated by one person, and only thing they're waiting to do is to get a run, which is when the price of the cryptocurrency goes up, and then they'll dump it, and they'll dump like 90% of the coin. And when 90% of the coin is immediately released, it drops. The price is going to drop inherently because people think like, oh, it has no value. So that's called a pump and dump. If none of you all are familiar with it in the stock market, that's been happening very frequently with these altcoins. Also, too, if there's an altcoin that's trading, if the number of coins trading, I'd say if it's under 1 million coins, I really don't deal with it either because it can be manipulated very easily. I like to see market caps in the billions for cryptocurrencies. When it gets to the billions, there's a serviceable market that's big enough for you to buy and sell. There are no market makers in cryptocurrency, which are the people that always keep the market going. So if you are holding a coin and nobody wants to buy it, your trade will not be executed. It could possibly just sit until somebody comes along with interest in that particular coin. So when you go too far outside of off the beaten track path with these altcoins, there's no one there to support you. So please, 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 even if it's an altcoin, a meme coin, these meme coins, the reason why they're so popular is because there's always a serviceable market. Or not always, let me take that away. Normally, there's a serviceable market out there that somebody says, I'll buy it from you. You got to have a buyer, you have to have a seller for a liquidity event to occur. So just be careful when that's a framework for anybody who's thinking about getting to altcoins. But more importantly, this is not advice to any one person. We're not suggesting you go out and you use your money for your rent, food. This should be money that you don't need, that you can lose all of it from. And we're not even endorsing investing in cryptocurrency. We're just telling you that we've seen what it can do. Even some of the cryptos that we're talking about, we didn't invest in. We've been watching the numbers, but we didn't invest in them. I probably will, but there's some we did invest in, and they did really well. And so and we lost very much. We lost just like everyone else in that 2021, 2022 time span.
Mm-hmm.
And we reallocated our accounts. I think that's the biggest difference between us and others. We reallocated ourselves to protect the position. But that's a whole different conversation. If you all are interested in learning more about cryptocurrency, we do phone calls every first Monday of the month where we talk about cryptos. And this Monday's phone call was pivotal for me because I would not have paid attention to even the cryptocurrencies I owned if it weren't for that phone call. So being part of a mastermind, being part of groups related to finance, it really is helpful because you need a community to remind you even of what you have. So with that being said, we owe you 2 stock picks. We are going to get you those 2 stock picks, but you have to go over to the IEA members platform. Information is below, and log in. If you can't log in, you might not be a member yet. So please become a member, jump in, and you'll be able to see our 2 stock picks and make a decision if they're right for you. So with that being said,
well, just last thing is anyone who is either not in particularly Bitcoin and maybe wants to get in, definitely do some research. Just Google Bitcoin ETFs, and you'll get a big list of them. I think there are like 11 that the SEC blessed that are out there now, and you can buy them. You can buy them in your brokerage account just like a stock. So it's an easy. You don't have to do the whole wallet thing. You don't have to have a Coinbase account. You can just buy it right there in your traditional brokerage account. So just Google Bitcoin ETFs, and you can take part.
All right, everybody, thank you for being with us. be careful out there. It's a really tricky market, and continue, following us, and we'll give you the best information we have at the time that we have it. Have a great day, everybody.